Hello, 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 everyone. Happy Monday. We're going to get started in a few minutes. Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining. Hey, Dr. Mays. Happy Monday. Hey, the future Dr. Stevens. I'm going to get you in here in a second. I just want to welcome everyone. Hi, everyone. I know some of you have the day off. I'm happy for you because it's President's Day. Some of us don't. Some of us are writing today. Some of us are resting. But I just want to welcome everyone. Come on in. Hello. We're going to have Cat Stevens join us in a second. Hello, everyone joining. Thanks for coming today. You're in for a treat because the future Dr. Stevens is just going to really break down her journey getting this doctorate degree. So hi, everyone. I'm going to welcome her in. And if you have any questions or comments for us as we're going through this interview, please feel free to put them in the comments, okay? All right, so I'm going to go ahead and add Kat in. Oh, hello. Hi, Kat. Good morning.
Good. Hey, how are you? Get my camera
so
ready.
Good. Yeah, go ahead and get your camera
Perfect.
ready.
Okay, I think I can see you.
Can you see me?
Yeah, perfect.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I can hear you too. Hi,
Perfect.
everyone. Hi, Alicia.
Hey, Alicia.
Hi, Paula.
Dr. Alicia.
Yes. Rose Data Studio, who is, by the way, a data coach, which is amazing. Hi, everyone. Welcome. So I just want to start with introducing myself. I'm Alexandria. I am currently a Finish Your Dissertation client, and I have the pleasure of being on Team Qual Scholars. So I get to help out and lead our marketing and promotions team. And I recognize that I don't always introduce myself. So for those of you who are like, this is not Dr. Lacy, that is correct. But I get the pleasure to interview our current scholars and be in company with them as they share their story and their journey, which I love. So I just wanted to introduce myself. And now that I've introduced myself, I want to welcome everyone back. This is our second installment of this series that we're sort of doing called Reflections from Current Clients. So we've had some amazing interviews with actual alumni of the Finish Your Dissertation program. And if you recall, on Friday, we had an amazing interview with Yashika Latimer. Hi, Marcus, who is a current FYD scholar. And now we have the pleasure of welcoming and hearing from the future Dr. Cat Stevens talk about her journey to become doctor and her journey inside the Finish Your Dissertation program. So I'm so excited to be able to do this interview with her. And without further ado, I'm going to pass it over to Kat. And Kat, can you just tell us who you are and where you are?
Yes, of course. So glad to be here and talk about this program today, my experience in my doctoral journey. So hi, everybody. My name is Kat Stevens, and I am a fourth-year PhD candidate at UMass Amherst, where I'm in the higher education program. And I am speaking to you all today from Maryland.
From Maryland. Okay, we hope you're warm and cozy because I'm just going to assume it's a little chilly there. Hi, First Class Research Solutions. Hi, everyone. Feel free to drop any comments, any questions for me or Kat in the comments below. So thank you so much, Kat, for introducing yourself. And I want to also ask if you can give us some sneak peek preview of what your dissertation is about.
So my dissertation, my baby, it's about so many things. It's about people's journeys. It's about resiliency. It's about being seen. I am writing a dissertation that is qualitative in nature, a critical qual dissertation study. And I center Black women, graduate students who may be experiencing or living with any number of neurodivergent conditions. So ASD, autism spectrum disorder, ADHD, dyslexia, dyscalculia, OCD, any number of things across the spectrum of conditions that would be named or labeled as neurodivergence. So we know that disability and diagnosis is typically gendered and racialized in a way where it's really skewed towards white and male. And so in my dissertation, in my research, what I'm doing is focusing on Black women graduate students through their educational journey and their experiences getting their graduate degrees while also experiencing disability.
I love how you really talk about your research as a form of like a baby and as something that, you love and you care for. I'm going to go a little bit off script, but because of your just very direct and clear, what am I trying to say? Like your description, right, of your dissertation. I want to know what's one thing that's surprising you the most as you are collecting data and you're coding right now. You're done collecting data,
Yeah.
but what has surprised you the most, whether it's been collecting data or now coding?
Yeah, I think one thing that is quite interesting for me is that most of my participants are mentioned or most of my participants talk a bit about not wanting to take up too much space in their institution, not wanting to take up too many resources that other students may need. And so it's come up again and again in varying languages that my participants are, while they recognize that they may be struggling academically or they have struggled academically, they don't want to necessarily put themselves out there to get some of the resources that their peers may be accessing easily. So there's a stigma around disability for sure.
I really appreciate you sharing that. And I can already imagine that you're thinking about ways of, reclaiming space back. And I know that's something that I'm sure you're going to dig deeper in with your coding and with your analysis. So thank you for
Absolutely
previewing that for us.
Yeah, it's really interesting. It's really exciting, and I really wanted to do something different and just talk about a collision, so to speak, of populations and multiply marginalized groups. And so you can be a Black person, you can be a Black woman, you can be someone with disability, you can be all of these things in one embodiment, and they're all sort of challenging to navigate, especially in the academy.
Thank you so much for leading this work and doing it from a critical qualitative perspective and sort of methodology. I also just want to say thanks for the folks joining. And if you have any questions right now for Kat or myself, please put them in the comments below. But one of the reasons that I wanted to interview today is that we were in a meeting last week, and Kat, we were having a conversation about how do people join Finish Your Dissertation? Like, what are the vessels that people enter in? And so we were talking about patterns, and there were a few patterns that exist. Like, for example, a lot of our clients are sort of 2 degrees separated. They had a friend who was inside the program and then joined. That's me. And then Kat discussed this pattern of joining FYD as a lurker. And if you're like, a lurker, why are you calling her that? But I want Kat, if you can explain to us how you even entered FYD and what it means to have entered as a lurker, which is a word you use.
Yeah, sure, certainly. So I entered FYD as a lurker. I'd been following Qual Scholars on social for a while, at least a year, maybe a year and a half. I'd also been following Dr. Marvette Lacy. Like, I've been following, they're doing different things. It seems like a really great program. But I wasn't at that point in my degree process where I necessarily thought about my dissertation in this in-depth way where I am right now. And so I thought it was a little too early for me to join FYD. And so last semester, I was working on my proposal for my dissertation. And I was running into the wall consistently about like getting really clear on how I was going to talk about my subject and talk about this topic. And so I just saw on Instagram one day that I think there was a lit review workshop, and it was happening, I think, in 2 days or something. It was happening really quickly, and I think the sign up was going to close within like an hour or something. And so I saw that Instagram post, and I said, I think I need to try this lit review workshop. And that's literally what brought me in. I went to the lit review workshop. It was on Zoom. It was great. I actually was in a really deep space of writer's block when I joined that. And so by the end of it, I'd written 4 shitty sentences, and that was like a breakthrough for me. And I realized if I can get this done in this short amount of time in this workshop, I can probably get a lot more done. And at the end of it, I was like, how do I sign up?
That's so important to know, because you're also not the only one of our FYD scholars who's joined that way. So
Mm-hmm.
Donald Coleman, which I really hope to be able to talk with him next month and have you all hear his story, also did the same thing, sort of joined adjacently, listened to the podcast, came to the webinars, the workshops, until it was a point of like, okay, I'm ready to join. So I appreciate you telling people sort of the different ways to sort of enter into this program.
Yeah, and I'd also been listening to the podcast for a while. I'm a podcast listener. I love podcasts, and so I've been listening to for maybe 3 years now, a bit of time. And so I'd known about it peripherally because some of my former classmates had done the program, some of my friends had done the program, and I just didn't think, oh yeah, I'm gonna need help when I get to this place. It just kind of snuck up on me, and then I was in real bad writer's block, and I also got a lot of feedback from my advisor, my chair, that I did not like, and I didn't know what to do with his feedback, and that was kind of what got me started.
I just want to mention too, thank you for this comment here. First Class Research Assistant said there's a huge need for in-depth research on women and disabilities in higher ed. And I also want to uplift the very normal feeling of getting feedback and not liking it. But it's so interesting, Kat, because I almost can't remember FYD without you, but I do remember you reaching out to us, whether to vent or to ask for help, and to really work through those feelings of I don't like this feedback, and we're gonna make a plan to do these revisions the next day. Do you remember being in that space?
Yeah, I do. I remember sitting at my kitchen table and my partner sitting on the other end of the table, and my face was like, whoa, what's going on? And he could tell that I was really excited, and I was actually able to write and type, and I was taking so many notes in my notebook. I had broke through a wall. I was really, really stuck. So it came in clutch, and then I figured I don't really care or know how I'm gonna get in, but I'm doing this program. And that was the day I figured, yeah, I'm doing it. I don't know how, but I'm doing it.
Right. Yeah, I feel like a lot of people come into that place. We've talked with Paula before. We've talked with a few other scholars of making that executive decision to say, I'm ready to join. And I really appreciate you uplifting that. And I also want to say hi to everyone who's joined. We have Dr. Morgan here. We have Hope here, Mara here. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining. I know some of you have a day off today, and so being here today means a lot to us. And even for folks who can't make it, you for sure can watch the replay. So, okay, Kat, I want to ask you, you've been in FYD for the better half of the end of last year, now into this new year. So when you think about Finish Your Dissertation and sort of the curriculum, whether it be the dissertation courses or the protocols, whether it be unlimited feedback, right away, community, I feel like I'm missing so much more. But when you think of those components, what do you feel like right now is helping you the most to finish this dissertation?
Yeah, I think for me, one thing was community. Like everybody else, I've been working from my laptop from home, and I have not been on campus really since 2020, really. And so I've just been kind of working virtually. All my work is virtual, so I have been separated from my office on campus, my friends on campus, my cohort, all of my regular routine went out the window. And so it's really isolating to continue working on your dissertation and finishing coursework in like in the middle of a pandemic and then figuring out how to motivate yourself to move forward with the next steps. So for one thing, the community is big for me. Like knowing that there are other people experiencing exactly what I'm experiencing. No one's going to judge me for having like a strong feeling to feedback. No one's going to think I'm strange. Also, like I can come into space on any of the calls like during the week and just like listen to somebody else talk about their issue and I can learn something from them. Like it's happened multiple times. Like a question that I might need a month or two later, somebody talked about it like before. I also am a big like paper person, so I printed out a bunch of booklets and I have them in my book here in my folder. This is my dissertation folder with all the things that I needed printed, and I printed out such as one chair communication guide, which you can't see, but like I'm that person I need to flip through and like circle things with pen and paper. So like I go back to this all the time.
Yeah, I love that we can go back to these like materials and do a replay, especially if we're, maybe there's a coding workshop, but we're not coding at that point, but we know that it's there for when we are at the point of coding. And I love that you print that stuff out. Are you excited about this new planner that we have? I don't know if you were on the call yesterday, but we're going to have a new like Qual Scholars planner that's going to be emailed to current clients, and then new clients will be able to get access to it too. But did you get a preview of it? I'm excited.
Yeah.
And I'm not a planner person, like a paper planner person.
I'm a big planner person. I'm obsessed with planning, and I love all things planning. And so yeah, it's really. I also like what I like a lot is that I'm not. I realize that I can't go to my chair for everything. Like the chair of my dissertation committee is one person, and he cannot do everything, nor can he answer every question. He cannot walk me through every like journey that I'm going through on this process. I need other people to be in community with. And so like when I get on the calls, just like I have multiple chairs, or I go on a Facebook group, like there's people that I can also bounce ideas off of. Because my chair is amazing. I have the best chair for me. Like we work really well together. But sometimes I can't reach him, or he's busy doing other stuff, chair stuff, or like, life happens. We're still in a pandemic. So it's really nice to be able to bounce ideas off of other people in the group.
I love that, Kat, and it brings me back to like the insight you were dropping last night in our right away, which we talked about. Like, what if you didn't need a great chair to become doctor? Which I think a lot of people go like grapple with. Like, what do you mean? I need the best of the best. And what you're really highlighting is like your chair can't be everything.
Yeah.
Right. And we said last night, like, your chair's been ghosting you. Yes, we tell you to reach out. We give you the chair communication guide, but also when you're in FYD, you got a family of chairs. What do you need? You need edits. You need IRB.
Yes.
Literally, what do you need?
Yes, absolutely. Yes, and working on my perspectives last semester, like that consumed me. And so I turned that in. I got feedback on many drafts of my perspectives before my chair even saw it. Like, so I was happy with that because my chair is very particular. I'll say that.
Yeah. No, I would totally agree that when we talk about unlimited feedback, sure, we as FYD scholars, we turn in like a good, nice draft of chapter 1, but sometimes we turn in our 20 shitty sentences and we're like, listen, Dr. Breeden, listen, Dr. Lacy, I can't find a connection. I can't see past this piece of the puzzle. And we turn in those like messy drafts. So I feel like Qual Scholars is doing the Lord's work because our advisors and chairs are getting like a much like cleaner draft of whatever we're working on than like they initially would.
I agree. And also there was, I was in a breakout room with Donald, I don't know, like maybe 6 weeks ago. And Donald mentioned, the book is over here next to me. I don't know where I put it. But, here it is. So Donald mentioned, like, we were talking about coding because we're those people. It's like, okay to just go off about coding. And so Donald mentioned this book, which I didn't have. And I was like, what? And then I went out and got it right away. So like, I can talk all day, but I wouldn't be where I am today had I not joined this program at that point when I joined it.
Right. That's so important to like think about how we're not about the competition. We're not about the like hidden curriculum. Like you can't see what I see. It's like, here's this resource. Like we do not resource guard, so to speak. It's literally like, for me, even I remember like Paula Mays, who's on here, was like, you need my IRB application? Here, just copy and paste it and change some things around. Because I think like academia will tell us like, you need to do this alone, you need to do this on your own. And for those of us who are like raised in community and understand the importance of community, that's not going to roll.
Yeah. Yeah. And actually, you helped me a great deal because you had a resource guide and like you mentioned it one time on one of the calls, and a couple of us were talking about like following up with our participants, especially if we're doing something that's really personal and maybe more like harder, difficult to talk about. And so you sent your resource guide. And when I tell you that it was a wonderful format for me, because I like based my resource guide for my participants on your resource guide, and I tailored it to like all things disability, all things like everything. So that was a great like plan for me to see, because I didn't know how I was going to do that and what I was going to give my participants as a follow-up. And so like people love the guide.
That warms my heart so much. I love literally seeing like how we are connected, because I forgot about that. But
I
now
didn't.
I remember I remember now talking about this resource document being like, hold on, let me get into like, I will send it to you, right? And sending that off. Hi, Kalia. So good to see you. Hi, everyone. Yeah, we're really talking about like these strong connections we have in Finish Your Dissertation, because Kat, I feel like, correct me if I'm wrong, when you join, you hit the ground running.
Yeah.
And I'm curious, like, what sort of propelled you to just join and hit the ground running in the way that you did?
Well, I am very stubborn. I'm a stubborn Taurus. I'm true to form, and I need to see the proof in everything I do. So literally, like joining the lit review workshop, once I realized like I could write something coming out of that writer's block, that was all I needed. So like I was sold. I didn't know how much it cost. I didn't know what the payment was going to look like. I didn't care. I just knew that it was essential to me to join if I was going to finish my dissertation on my terms, and finish it in a way that I would be proud of. And so I very much feel that way now. And so I think I joined in September of. I
Sorry, I
joined
think,
in.
okay, sorry. Yeah.
Yep. I
Okay.
have a timer on my phone because when I'm on social media too much, the timer is like, you're done. You can't be on social no more. So, so yeah, like that moment of breaking through, and having community to write with, because I need to write with other people. I need to work with other people. If I'm going to get anything done, I have to do it with other people.
I feel the same way. I definitely resonate with that. And, you know, I just have so many questions that are coming to me because I've been able to sort of witness your journey. And I want to sidetrack a little bit and talk about, yeah, we talk about hitting the ground running, and we love that for you. But I want to give an example and have Kat expand on this for me. You know, Kat came and defended her prospectus proposal in early February, I think February 4th. And you passed, which we were like, oh, not surprising. Of course you were going to pass. And I remember you telling us, okay, I'm going to take the day off. I'm going to take the weekend off, right? And then you
Yeah,
came back a week later and you're like, oh, I took the week off.
I
And I
did.
want to ask, how did you make that executive decision to not only take the weekend off, but the entire week off after your prospectus?
So my prospectus, like was one of those things I was like crying through the process. I'd be up at night, like just, I don't want to do it. This sucks. I don't like this feedback. My advisor is the worst person ever. And then like every single step I would get further and the feedback would get better. or like the feedback would be clearer. There'd be more clarity in our conversations. Like the conversations became more like heightened, and like I was like, oh, these conversations are different than when I first started writing this thing. So wait, what now? What did you ask me? My ADHD is kicking in.
No. You did your prospectus.
Oh,
you
yes.
worked hard on that. You passed it.
Yes.
And then you decided to take a week off. How did you get to that point?
Yeah, because I had been working on my prospectus September, October, November, December, January. Like I turned it in right before Christmas. And so I guess 5 months. And I've been working on that thing for a long time. So when I actually was able to defend, my committee suggested that I take time off. And I was not used to that. And my chair was like, so Kat, I know you don't like to, but I want you to step away from this and take the week off. And they all were agreeing. And I was like, take time off? What do you mean take time off? Like, I like to work. So I took time off. And I realized like I had done the work. I deserved the time off. I put in the hours. I put in the energy. And so what resulted from it was a really substantial prospectus that I wasn't expecting. Like I knew what I was doing, but I didn't know if my committee would like love it. And I was surprised that they loved it. And so hearing from them, like, take the time off, like you've done the work, we can see it. That kind of gave me more permission to just take the week off. And so I took the week off. I was on Netflix. I was in bed. I was sleeping. I was living my best lazy life.
Love that. And we were just so like right away, we're like, you took the week off. We were hyping you up because like right yesterday in the workshop we talked about, it's about the person first and the dissertation second. And so you could have been like, all right, I passed, next day, let me work. But I'm glad that you had a committee and that you also accepted their suggestion to have a seat.
Yeah,
you always deserve rest.
You always deserve it. And I'm still struggling with this, but the idea that like deserve rest if I work, that's just how it's been in my education journey, my master's, my undergrad, now this PhD, like that's what it's been like. And now I'm starting to realize, oh, I can rest. Actually, when I rest, my brain will work better. Like a year ago, I was doing my comps and I think I was awake for a week straight, which I do not recommend to anyone. Do not be like me. That's past me. I don't do that no more. But it was not good. Like I was not resting. I was just working and pushing myself mentally to get these 3 papers done for, we got a lot over here at UMass for our thing. So I was not doing that. I was not going to do it. So I had to rest, and I was happy I rested.
Yes, I really appreciate that detail of talking about that journey of rest and coming to that decision. I'm thinking about just your progress inside Finish Your Dissertation, outside of Finish Your Dissertation. Like, can you tell the people like where you're at currently in your dissertation and like what you hope to work towards? Maybe just what's your March goal?
So right now, it's like, so today's Monday, so it's been about a little over 2 weeks that I defended my prospectus, and now I'm pretty much writing my dissertation. I did data collection out of order, so I already done data collection. I'm in analysis right now, and pretty much once analysis is done, like I'm writing. So I am dissertating, as they say. So I've pretty much done about 80% of my program at this point, and now this is just the last push that I need to do. And my March goal is to really like get analysis to a place where I feel good. So like 3 levels of analysis I'm doing, all this coding, just like, yeah, that's where I'm at.
That's a great, I would say, 30-day goal. And remember, you have enough to code, you know enough to code, you are enough to code. Remember that. And you were actually at the coding workshop that we held just for Qual Scholars clients a week ago on a Thursday. And I actually want to ask you, because you were really engaged in that, what was like one takeaway from that coding workshop?
I'm visual, so I like to see examples of things. Like I have to see it to understand it. And so just seeing like examples of like how people had organized their codes or what they had done it under. And there was like stuff I think on the site when you like log in, there's other examples from other scholars as well. And so I need to be able to see how people organize it to help me think about how I want to lay mine out so that I don't get confused. Because I have a lot of data. I'm blessed, but I have a lot of data. And this coding is going to be something. But I also took away that I don't have to like throw the whole kitchen sink at the coding data analysis process. Like I don't have to do all of it for it to be done. Like I can do some of it and it will be great enough.
So it will be above grade enough. And I think that is actually a takeaway as well. Like we're gonna, after the PhD, we're gonna look at our data with like a fresh new pair of eyes, and we're gonna like engage with it in a totally different way. And so I resonate with that. I have so many parts that I'm not even including in my dissertation, but after, because for you, like that could be a book, that could be your consulting, business, anything like that. So you have so much more to do with this work.
Yeah, I'm thinking about that a lot. Like, what are the next steps? What are outcomes beyond the dissertation? One thing that also like means a lot to me is I was struggling with the transition from like finishing comps to becoming a candidate, and like what happens after you finish coursework? What happens now that I'm a candidate? Like, I'm still a student, but I'm now a candidate, but I'm operating within the same space, but I'm supposed to carry myself a little bit differently now. How do I navigate all of these steps and like going through all these milestones? Like that is where I think for me, Qual Scholars also was really helpful in knowing like you are already the doctor. Like this dissertation is just like, can you do A, B, and C the way we've, taught you at the university? So you're already the doctor, you're already the scholar, it's already done. It's literally just going through the process and proving what you need to prove to them. But that mind like flip for me of like, you are a doctor, like you can like have conversations, you can push back, you can say, I don't want to do that for my dissertation. You can take advice and say, I'll think about it. Thank you so much. And you can leave it like that.
Yes, I love that. I forgot about that takeaway in the Cody workshop was that, we have to like lead, we have to steer the ship. And that is like you might have to do a lot of mindset work. We focus a lot on mindset and finish your dissertation. Like when we say mindset, we're like, are you coming from a scarcity mindset or an abundance mindset? Mm-hmm. Are you being a people pleaser, or are you like making progress towards your goals? Like,
yeah,
it's a lot of work. It takes a lot of like dedication to work on mindset, but we do it in community so that it doesn't feel like overwhelming and like unattainable.
Yeah, I agree. And like my it just stuck and hit me that like you are a doctor long before you finish and defend. You are already doctor, act as such. Like you are the best person to advocate for yourself, advocate for your work. Nobody else knows your work on your committee the way you do. You have the power. So like act like it. And that is kind of where I'm at right now. Like, over the next 5 months or whatever that it's gonna take me to write this thing, defend this thing. I'm done. I'm doctor already. Like
Dr. Stevens is in the house, everyone. If you didn't know before, now you know. Dr. Stevens is here. I love that, Kat.
Yeah.
Kat, I'm thinking about like when you started to where you are now. And if you could give a message to anyone who wants to join Finish Your Dissertation but is on the fence, thinking about it, what message would you give to them?
I would say the investment is worth it. The investment is worth it. I definitely had some months where I was like, I can't do this fun thing that I wanted to do. Let me be responsible and hold this money over there for what I'm signed up for. I think for me, like making sense of the financials was a big piece. And then once I did that, everything else I was committed to. So for me, it's like an investment in myself, and I can see the payoff because I know I wouldn't be where I am today, like, I don't know, 6 months later, had I not joined at that moment in time. And I think had I joined when I was doing my comps, I would have been a hot mess. So I'm happy that I joined now. Like, that is really the end. So.
Yeah. Thank you for that message. And I think it is important that you might have to sit down. You very well have to sit down and look at the financials. We talked about that with Yashika. Yashika's like, listen, I'm a math person. I had to crunch the numbers, I had to talk to my partner. We've had scholars really look at like, how do I make this refund from my institution and
Yeah.
move that over here? I was like, how do I write these off my taxes and move that money over here? And we totally understand that, like, not everyone has the finances to join and make the investment. And I want you to consider, like, looking back at our interviews with our alum and our current clients like Kat, and really thinking about what is an investment. Because a lot of times I feel like, especially for first gen scholars, like who are maybe low income, an investment to me is like, I gotta eat, I gotta have, a sweater to make sure I'm not cold, I have to have a car so I can drive get groceries. Those are like basics, right? Like, and an investment can be really scary because I don't do stocks, but from what I understand, when you invest in stocks, you're not sure if you're going to get your money back or lose your money, and so I feel like oftentimes we look at the word investment in this context and it's like, am I going to graduate? Am I not? And I think Dr. Lacy would have us all consider, like, what if it did work out? What if you made the investment to have a dissertation coach, be in this program, and become doctor?
Yeah, and also because, like, I didn't know much, like, going back to, like, my dissertation and this conversation in my dissertation about, like, accommodations and, like, graduate students choosing to receive or not receive accommodations. Like, there was a part of me that thought, like, things like this were like, oh, I'm gaming the system, or I'm cheating, or I'm getting a dissertation coach, or I got to do it myself. I'm stubborn. Let me do it myself. You're still doing the work yourself because ain't nobody writing this decision for you. You're still doing it yourself. However, like, I realized that I could work smarter and learn from other people, learn in community, and also, like, not be, like, alone in this process of writing this dissertation, which I'll never write again. So I might as well do it with people that get it, that understand the process. And also, I've seen other people in my field do this program, and, like, those people are amazing. And I knew, oh, I didn't realize so-and-so did this program and they're bomb. So that kind of also gave me, like, oh, okay, like, people I know have done it and they're amazing scholars. So why not me go ahead and do it?
I love that. Actually, that excited me so much last week when we were in a meeting. Yes, you entered in as a lurker, but can you talk about knowing people who also did the program and do a little shout out?
Yeah, because like, I'm in higher ed, and so if you're in higher ed, you see the same people over and over again. And I had gone to, like, there's overlap in my master's program with Dr. Kat Cho, who's one of the homies from Teachers College, AA, Columbia, let's go. And we had done our like program together. Like, I think Kat did sociology of ed, I think, and I was in higher ed. We were, like, down the same hallway, essentially. So we had seen each other, like, in school for, like, 2-3 years. And so then, like, Dr. Cho had moved on and started her PhD program, and I was finishing up my master's program. And Dr. Cho is phenomenal, brilliant, like, one of the best people, and kind, and just really kind and really giving and really generous with information. And so I just thought, like, Dr. Cho is that smart. She just did it on her own. I never assumed that people also worked with other people. I don't know why I didn't assume that. I just thought it had to be really, really hard, but it doesn't have to be hard. And so once I realized that Dr. Cho had done it, like, what? Like, I don't know. I don't know why I assumed, like, people out here just doing it by themselves. No, you don't have to. You don't really have to. So the investment for me was also seeing scholars that I know and respect killing the game. And then also, like, oh, I assume these very brilliant people just did it locked up in a room by themselves. I don't know why I assumed that. That's not the case.
Yeah, I think it's an easy assumption to, like, grab onto, but I mean, we've had scholars, like, their chairs are the top of the field. Like, we've had scholars who are, like, well known in their conferences, and it's like, all that doesn't matter, because when you need support, you need support. So no amount of like fancy chair or, like knowing this person sort of compares to like needing the support that we give inside Finish Your Dissertation. So thank you for uplifting that.
Yeah, I thought it was like gaming the system, and I don't know why, but like it really is not. Like, you can do this thing and have fun while you're doing it. You can have joy while you're doing it. You can laugh while you're doing it. Like, I don't know what else to say, but for me, I feel confident that I can do my dissertation and finish it the way I want to, on my timeline, having fun, living my life, and like finish it and write a beautiful dissertation, which is something I couldn't say this confidently 9 months ago. I just couldn't. I wouldn't say this 9 months ago.
Wow, that's such a like beautiful way to like think about your journey and sort of conceptualize where you were and where you are now. And I want to thank everyone here. If you have any comments or questions for Dr. Stevens, please let us know. But what I also want to like talk about, or no, what I want to think about is is there anything else you want to add to your journey that you think other people might benefit from hearing? Is there anything else you want to add?
Yeah, I think you just have to get out of your own way. And for me, like I said before, I'm very stubborn. I stand in my way all the time. So once I got out of my own way, and realized that help can look like many things, and that if I want to be in community and I write about community, why not do my dissertation in community? Like, there's so many other things I do in community. I don't know why, like, oh, let me just go do this really challenging thing by myself. So that's what I'd probably say, is that like we do so many other things in community, and where are you going to find a space where you can like have so many Black and Brown scholars coming together doing their work? And also, there's not only like education people, there's people coming from all disciplines. So I'm learning from other people as well, who are not even doing work related to mine. And I'm like, oh, that's cool. I didn't know that. I learned something new from somebody because they were in some other field. So
Yeah, that's right. I think we were discussing this last week. Like, education's big in our program, but it's not everything. We have scholars who are in public health. We have scholars who are in family studies. We have like scholars who are in like mathematics. Like, we have scholars who are doing quant dissertations. And so we like really, oh, and speaking of our quant scholar, Gabby just joined. Hey, Gabby, Gabby's
what up,
doing
Gabby?
quantitative dissertation. And so really we just invite everyone to think about Finish Your Dissertation as a way to finish your dissertation, like Kat is saying, the way you want it, with this joy, with living your life. That's a beautiful message.
Yeah. And I really wouldn't have known it to put it into practice unless I joined this group, because I believe that doing my dissertation and doing my like grad studies was like, you working 100 hours a week, you don't sleep at night. Like, no. I am drinking my water. I'm actually resting. I'm like, what is happening here? I've transformed from, this person who was just working all day, all night. And I don't want to do that anymore. And it's not encouraged. Like, we're learning smart ways. At least I'm learning smart ways to also do my work, but not like run myself into the ground while doing it. And I used to do that before. I was good for running myself into the ground. I'm not doing that anymore.
Because you're out here telling the people how to beat their face. You're planning a whole wedding. You're going to
planning a wedding
Puerto Rico.
On top of that,
living.
Planning a wedding is more difficult than writing a dissertation. Let me just say that.
So we don't have time to be in the dissertation raggedy, burnt out, because we need the skin glowing for the wedding.
Yes, we need the Fenty top end.
Yes, it's been so fun chatting with you, Kat. I feel like I learned so much more about you than I would have if we didn't have an opportunity to just chat. And I think your journey is going to bless a lot of people who need to hear it and really think about where they're at and where they want to go. And if anyone wants to connect with you, what is like the best way to do that? Do you connect with people on Twitter? I know you do Twitter. I know you do IG.
Yes. Twitter is where you can find me. It's a new Twitter account I made, so I don't really remember the name. I think it's K
Case.
Stevens _ Peace. I think
It
it's
is.
that. Yes. So then STEPHENS. Stevens with a PH, not a V. Yeah. Find me on Twitter. That's where I live at.
Yeah, Kat is like all over Twitter and just putting in the work, telling people her journey, and we appreciate that transparency that you give. So everyone, I'm going to go ahead and just say a big thank you for the Dr. Kat Stevens for joining us today on her day off, sharing her journey. We hope you watched this replay. We hope that you have a takeaway to just really make that executive decision to make the investment into yourself. And Kat, it's been such a pleasure to talk with you. Thank you so much for being here today.
Likewise, you're the bomb, Alex. I don't know how you do it all, but you are also leading the way and reflecting that you can do it all and just be sane and live your life and eat well. Because we be eating on calls.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know where that came from, but I'm always snacking. So
yeah, on right-of-ways, we it's at nighttime, so a lot of us are making dinner or eating dinner. So me and Kat, we always have the partners, showing up to deliver us our food while we're writing. So
our lattes over here. My partner's good for the lattes. Just a latte will come from nowhere. At the end of the call, you'll see a hand leading like this. So anyway, but find me on Twitter. I'd love to talk about this experience with anyone if you have questions. It's been amazing for me. So
thank you so much, Kat. Having a wonderful day, a wonderful week. Thank you, everyone, for joining. And stay tuned because we got some IG Lives on Wednesday with Dante and Tasha. We have a Thursday IG Live with Pascal, Edward, Dr. Lacy's going live all throughout this week. And we're just really showing you all what we're about inside Qual Scholars and inside Finish Your Dissertation. So mark your calendars and we will see you then.
All right. Bye, y'all.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, Alex.